One evening, a young man asked Niccolò Machiavelli, "Why do people ignore good people, but respect dangerous people?" Machiavelli smiled slowly, because he had seen kings rise. He had seen empires collapse, and he understood one truth better than most men. Human beings rarely respect kindness without strength. The young man listened carefully. Machiavelli walked toward the window and looked outside. "Most people destroy their own respect," he said calmly, without even realizing it. The young man asked, "How?" Machiavelli replied, "By trying too hard to be liked." Silence filled the room. Then Machiavelli began his lesson. "People can smell desperation," Machiavelli said. "When a man constantly explains himself, constantly seeks approval, constantly tries to please everyone, he quietly tells the world, 'I fear losing you.' And the moment people feel you fear losing them, they stop respecting you." The young man lowered his eyes, because he knew it was true. He always replied instantly, always apologized quickly, always tried to make everyone happy, yet nobody valued him. Machiavelli continued, "A lion does not ask the forest for permission to roar." The young man asked, "Then should I speak less?" Machiavelli nodded. Powerful people understand something weak people never learn. Silence makes others reveal themselves. He poured wine slowly before continuing. When you react emotionally to every insult, people control your emotions. But when you remain calm, people begin fearing your mind. The young man remembered every moment he lost control in anger. Machiavelli noticed his expression. "Never show all your emotions," he said quietly, "because the world respects emotional discipline more than emotional honesty." Machiavelli smiled. If the king were available to everyone every second, he would stop looking like a king. The room became silent again. "Humans value rarity," Machiavelli said. "Rare gold, rare diamonds, rare access. Even attention becomes valuable when it is limited." Then he leaned closer. "That is why people often ignore those who give too much attention freely." The manipulation weeks passed. The young man followed every lesson. He became calmer, spoke less, stopped chasing people, and suddenly, everything changed. People who ignored him started respecting him. People who mocked him became polite. People who once avoided him suddenly wanted his attention. For the first time in his life, he felt powerful. But slowly, something dark entered his heart: pride. Now he enjoyed controlling reactions. He delayed replies intentionally, used silence to make others nervous, withheld attention to increase his value. And each time it worked. He smiled. One night, Machiavelli looked at him carefully. "You're learning too fast," he said. The young man smiled proudly. "Is that bad?" Machiavelli's face became serious. "Yes." The young man frowned. "I thought power was the goal." Machiavelli shook his head slowly. "No. Control is the goal. First control yourself, otherwise power will control you." The young man stayed silent. Then Machiavelli spoke the final truth. Many men learn psychology to protect themselves, but eventually they begin using it to manipulate others. And that, he said quietly, is where monsters are created. The fire beside them crackled softly. Machiavelli stood up and looked toward the darkness outside. The weak man begs for respect. The dangerous man forces respect. But the wise man, he paused, the wise man earns it without losing his humanity. Respect psychology is simple. Never appear desperate. Control emotions. Speak less than others. Protect your attention. Maintain boundaries. But remember this carefully. The purpose of power is not to dominate people. The purpose of power is to make sure nobody can dominate you. That was the lesson of Niccolò Machiavelli.